Oh, go on. Go on.
That's my new flick.
He's got a bit of Bon Jovi on today.
Do you know what? I can't wait till all the messages come up.
It's really transformed you.
Mate, I feel a lot younger. I needed a change up, and I can wear it a few different ways. Yeah, I'll get buried on the street, but that's what it's all about. I love it. Oh. Even the boys out there, didn't they? Bullard, what's he done with his health? I'm like, don't worry about that.
Oh, that's good, mate. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. What is you saying?
I've got a bit of technology.
Yeah, you've
gone looking about with your paper scripts, are you? When I've gone high tech. Oh, look at that. So, look at that. It's scrolling up and down. Got everything I need. Beautiful. I tell you what.
I don't even need that for this.
Welcome to FC Bullard, by the way.
Yeah, welcome everyone. We didn't even welcome.
Nice wheels, by the way, as the kids say. Is that a golf shoe?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've gone on an interview this morning, so I was rushing around, but look how good they are.
Oh, they've got pimply soles. Just put your foot up to the camera.
Little
pimply soles. Is that Stan Smith?
They're a little Stan Smith Malbon collab. I've just put it out on social media. Do you know the amount of people when I play golf? What are they, Jim? What's that? What's that? And even with my clobber. So I'm going to start telling you what it's all about. Nice. Stan Smith Malbon collab. You said bad time, Jim, didn't you? So I've got on it. I've got on you.
Yeah. No, it's lovely. Just quickly picking up from last week's guest, Joe Cole, who our first signing. Great reaction to that. He was absolutely top class.
Hell of a signing.
I was a little bit in awe of him, in a weird way. You know, even though I know him, he's got a real presence about him, hasn't he?
He talks so well, doesn't he? He knows the game inside out.
And he brought us something, didn't he, Jim?
Do you know what? I keep saying it because everyone who brings something, I always say that's our best one. But that is my favourite.
He brought us a shin pad.
Yeah.
One of his shin pads that he played in from, day dot. Only one.
That's definitely from West Ham, by the way, and I'm not having banter. That is back in the day.
Right, James.
Yes.
FC Bullard. What are we doing? We're building a football club from scratch. We have got all kinds of staff on board already. Starting to gather momentum. Are you pleased with the momentum so far?
I'm happy. Yes, we always say it. We've gone a little bit back to front. Got our first player last week. That really settled us in.
Big.
Great guest today.
Oh, this is
very fresh, very new, very modern.
Love it.
Very American NFL, should I say? Was they the first ones doing it? Does that underprivilege the guest?
Just stop me one second. You've just got something in your tooth there, and I don't want you to go through.
It's fine.
I don't know what it is. It's like a bit of parsley. Have you been eating like codfish in a bag? That's that sort of thing. You can see it. I think it's gone, mate. It's gone. Lovely.
Yeah. Mate, no problem. You was looking at me going, I thought it was the wig. I thought, not really. But it's a bit of parsley and menasha.
My sister-in-law went to me, you got a bit of sweet corn in your tooth, John. And I'm going, no, that's just my tooth. Just like,
sponsored by Coleman.
Just a bit discoloured. Anyway, moving right on. Yeah, so this is today's guest.
Yeah.
He occupies a role that I've never heard of.
Nor did I.
Didn't know it existed. And I'm really interested in how it came about, what it entails.
Yes.
So
we're going to pepper him load of questions. So
should we introduce him?
Go on, John. Intro him.
Okay. Let's say a very, very warm FC Bullard welcome to Sammy Lander.
Yes.
Okay. Who is football's first ever
user like this
substitution coach.
There you go.
Gosh.
Welcome to FC Bullard.
Thank you very much for having me. A privilege to be in the company of two FC Bullard icons.
That's very kind of you. Yes. Yeah, you've got the job, mate. You've got the job. Right. I'm just going to go straight in.
Go on.
So you are the first ever substitution coach, and you're also. Are you a National League coach as well, or were you a National League coach?
I was a National League coach, when I was 23.
Okay, what age are you now?
28.
Okay, so where were you coaching?
Weymouth.
You were coaching at Weymouth when you were 23?
Non-league boy, yeah.
That's early.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there a reason for that? You obviously played.
Didn't play. No.
Right.
So, yeah,
okay.
Had when I was 10, 11, had a car crash. Quite a big deal. Lost the sight in my right eye, so 9, 10 surgeries followed, in and out of hospital, all this sort of stuff. So playing was always tough, played a few charity games and Played one for Bournemouth, and they put me left wing back, and me right eye's obviously a no-go, and
banging trouble
I
there.
can't invert because I can't see where I'm inverting, so I'm just down the line, swing it, and it makes the career, as you'll know, a little bit harder to have when you've only got half of it. So for me, it was like, what's the next thing, and I want to win the Premier League, so if I can't win it as a player, I'll win it as a coach. So.
Right, okay. So your love for the game, you thought, next step, I'm going to coach.
I need another pathway. Yeah, you've got to work in passion.
Got to say, from the outset, hats off to you.
Absolutely.
To have that, because it must have been, I'm assuming psychologically, that was a really difficult period of your life.
Yeah, tough moment. Yeah, a lot of hardship. But again, that builds you as a character, doesn't it, for sure?
That's amazing.
And when, I just want to ask you a question. When did you go from coaching, how long ago did you carve out this little number for yourself?
So I was at Weymouth. First team coach, 23. Yeah. We'd gone back-to-back promotions. So I was in the Southern League, won it, went to National South, won it, went into National League. So our progression on the pitch had been very fast. Yes. We were still very much a part-time club in what is now largely a full-time league. We're coming up against Notts Counties, your Barnets, Stockports. And then we went through COVID. So, financially, the club was in a tough spot. Had to furlough a load of players, COVID going through the squad, and we played Maidenhead in the FA Cup. And we got bare 11, and they go, we need a sub. Sammy Lander, in you step.
Right.
And it was like, right, I'm going to be a sub, I'm a player. And then it was like, maybe I could win it as a player. You know what I mean? Jamie Vardy's done it, maybe this is the start. But
absolutely.
It was that moment where it was a sub, and strikers got down, 87th minute. Gaffer's turned to me and said, are you ready? And I'm sort of just, on the bench, sort of like, I'm tuned into the game, but you know what I mean, I'm relaxed, I've got jelly babies, and he turns around and he says, oh, are you ready? And I sort of just look behind me to see, who he's talking to, and it's just the goalkeeper and coach and the kit man, both just sort of looking at me, and it's like, oh, shit, it's me then.
Right.
I'll pick it up and
get
ready.
And you're not ready.
And I was absolutely not ready in that moment, and that was where it was like, ping, wow, if I feel like this, holistically, physically, psychologically, mentally, technically, there must be players, staff that resonate, and what's that doing for a team's chances of winning a game?
How do you go from being on the bench at Weymouth to having that light bulb moment and then going and knocking on the manager's door saying, Gaffer, I've got an idea?
So obviously I'd experienced being a substitute, so the light bulb had flicked, and I'd started notes, I started data collection, started the open interview that I touched on. I'm talking to players and staff and saying, what's it like being a sub? Is it ready for football or not? Sort of snowballed a little bit from there. Then reached out to people on LinkedIn. I went through a stage where I was just guessing people's emails in professional clubs, where like, where the secretary is like, nufc.co.uk, and you think, oh, Dan Ashworth's got to be something along those lines, isn't it? Like D.Ashworth. He wasn't, that one bounced back, but plug his email. But yeah, so I'd just be like guessing, trying to get emails and trying to lock in with people who I just think, you're going to want to hear this, and I think you benefit from it, and I believe in this. And Andy Parslow, who's a set-piece coach at Wimbledon, was again someone on LinkedIn who kind of...
LinkedIn's a powerful little tool for
it's good. Yeah. Like, I'm from a rural town, right, in Shaftesbury, Dorset, do you know what I mean? Like, hour to my closest football club. I don't meet people that are going to give me the opportunities that I need to win the Premier League. So yeah, Andy Parslow was kind enough to give me the call, talk to him about qualifications and whatever stuff I would benefit from. And yeah, again, at the end, 15 minutes, can I just pitch this idea to you? He said, yeah, I actually really like that. Robbo, our manager, he's very open-minded, innovative, similar to yourselves. I think he'd like this. So I exchanged numbers, spoke to Robbo a little bit. Robbo invited me in, and just drove into Wimbledon, parked up at the training ground, went in, done a day with them training, and then pitched my data to say that I think I'd found a weakness in their substitution process, in the sense that I think they lost 8 games 1-0, so 4 substitute goals turns 4 extra points turns into whatever place, 100 grand, 200 grand return on investment. That's all this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? The little bits that you're pitching. And then Robbo was like, love it. Like, again, Robbo was a little bit more like you, where different clubs like different parts of it.
Absolutely.
So like Brighton really loved the data side of it, and how I would maybe be selective over a substitute, because the best sub isn't always the right sub, so it's picking the right one. But Robbo loved that I was there for the players, line of communication, all this sort of stuff. So he said, go pitch to the chairman. So I went to him, pitched slightly different, you know what I mean? So a little bit more
nervous
on
when you pitch into like
I
big dogs like that,
I don't,
frustrating, believe in it.
And also because it's what I want. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go and work as a tradie or do you know what I mean? Like it's just not what I resonate with.
It's a nutty turnout though, how you've just carved out your own little piece.
Career.
And it's like, do you not think? I love it.
But I believe that if it's your thing and you're really passionate about it and you know more about it than anybody else,
love shit like this.
then when you're having that conversation, whatever it is, you can't get found out because everything is authentic and everything's like, well, you've got an answer to all of it because you've thought so hard and long about it all.
Picture. Yeah.
You've got everything to back you up.
It just came from there, And then chairman loved it, offered it to me, internship to start with. So again, like financially tough, hardship.
Of course.
Couldn't move to London, so I had to drive to start. So I'd be driving to Wimbledon from Bournemouth most days, to go and do it. And then it generates and it turns into whatever it turns into. And
it makes it's such common sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, of course, you would think, surely this is something that should have existed for a long time. I mean,
it's very unique. Does it? I would say as well for a football club, it sort of makes sub not sound as bad as it does. Did. Do you get what I mean? It makes it's a bit of a feel-good factor amongst the squad as well, isn't it? You must get that quite a lot.
Psychologically, there's a massive part of this role where when you have, I always liken it to like a goalkeeping coach. It's the GK Union, innit? They're a different breed of people. They're all together. Yes, they'll challenge each other and they'll want the number 2 to get to be the number 1, but come 90 minutes, Ramsdale's a great example. He always backs, Rayo when he was at Arsenal winning and save a pen, and he's just a great guy because there's a union and there's a cohesion. And if the number 3's suffering, he goes to the GK coach. He doesn't go to the manager. And I wanted to almost replicate that with the substitutes. Have a union, have a cohesion where don't go and be a substitute with sort of like a fuck you attitude, like you've dropped me, I'm going to go show you what I'm about. Do it with okay, that's my role today. Going to buy in sustainability. Gaff's going to be here. Let's stay as a group collective.
Do you find a lot of players buy into that? Really?
Yeah, I would actually argue that the players are a hell of a lot easier than not hell of a lot easier. Players, I've never had a player resist it in my time. And again, like I'm a 28-year-old young coach, never played. Everything suggests that it should be quite tough with a new role, but I'm fixing their problems, if that makes sense. I don't sit on the bench and I'm not the one that's called on in the 80th minute after sitting down for 35 minutes to go and reach your top speed, perform a high value action and then get battered if you don't or do. And
because in a weird way, the sub sort of, as I'm speaking to you, the title was sub sort of disappearing and it's sort of becoming, you're more of a match winner, a match changes, call it what you want. But it's like, it's quite a unique mind switch, isn't it? It's quite weird what it's doing to me there, because all of a sudden, now from being a sub on the board, your mind switches to, hang on, I'm a changer here.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
It's like the rugby, isn't it? It's like with rugby union, they call them finishers, don't they?
Yeah, sorry.
They call them finishers.
Yeah, sorry to jump in, but obviously Eddie Jones, finisher terminology, brilliant. I would say the next generation of player probably starting to normalise the term finisher. So we've sort of taken it one step further.
Go on.
And we have now tactical roles with psychological names. So you might be a closer, you might be an energizer, you might be an impactor, a match winner. And let's paint a picture.
So is that down to each individual?
Yeah, but also to do with the tactical style of the team. So, I'll create a picture here where FC Bullard possession team, you said win the ball back high, reactive. So we're probably going to have very high physical output. So let's say Joe Cole's coming back, he hasn't played for a while, he starts with me, we'll introduce him. He's going to be an energizer because, the next guest you're going to go on is going to run for 60 minutes. But then we need Coley to go on and be an energizer and bring that level of intensity. We're going to be possession based, we're going to be a big team in a small league, we're going to be winning games, so we might need closers. We need people to just go out and close the game for us. And what you do is you create that alignment between starter, substitute, staff, manager, where if I say closer, you go on and you achieve the scoreline that you've gone onto the pitch with. Right. If you're an energizer, we're assessing you on your ability to give us energy. If you're a momentum driver, go and be, and I've actually got my first gift, and it's a nice time to slip this one in.
Whip it out if it goes.
So this is something I do for clubs when I go in, and I've just tailored it to sort of an FC Bullard colour scheme. So the kit might contradict it, but these are some of the names, I'll pass it over, these are some of the names that we would use with a club, and the definitions aren't on there because I want to keep myself a little bit protected, but when we have that stuck up in the dugout, and I've been at a club for a little bit of time and we've built a little bit of a relationship, I have Premier League players come to me and say, what am I going to be today? And you might go, you're going to be a closer today, mate. And that is alignment where you then know what you've got to do. I know then how I'm judging you on your success. Manager knows what he needs, and don't get me wrong, it all comes from the manager. It'll never be me who says you're a closer, it'll be manager feeds into me. I might go and clarify that because manager wants to focus on the 11. And
so, but each player So rather than each player like being one of those, and any player could be any one of these on any given day.
Yeah. So if we're Man City and we're 5-0 up, I might need 5 closers. Because I don't need maybe a match winner when we're 5-0 up. So then it's like, right, well, now I need to design a process for you from going to be a substitute into a closer, and almost start at the end and work your way back. How can I technically make you a closer? How can I tactically make you a closer? How can I physically make you a closer? How can I psychologically make you a closer?
A team to start, but a squad to finish. I like that. Was that yours?
That is from Bezo, goalkeeping coach, who I worked with. Yeah, well, but and he always used to bellow it at the beginning of a game.
Did he?
I thought I like that. I'm going to have that, yeah.
So it spells the word finisher, and it says finishers. It says impactor, energizer, motivators. Substitute is crossed out because substitutes are a thing of the past.
Love that.
Match winner, exciter, controller, closer. I think, Jimmy, you would be, well, you're an impactor, you're an energizer, you're a motivator, you're a match winner, you're an exciter.
Yeah,
you're absolutely, you're an excitable exciter. Controller.
Yeah, that's a good question. When would an exciter come into subs, like?
I would say Bournemouth. So I don't know when this will air, but Bournemouth last night, Southampton, 3-1, 70th minute game. I felt the game was a bit flat. Do you know what I mean? You're looking at Bournemouth, you're going, you've rushed into 3-0 lead. Come off it a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, go and excite the fans. Do you know what I mean? This is a derby. You've settled back in. It's got a bit quiet.
I love it.
Go excited for us.
You sell the drink. He sells it.
So excited.
Have you ever done sales? Would you ever?
No, mate.
No, back in the day.
No.
So an exciter is someone who would go on and lift the crowd really.
Bring some noise to us.
Showboating maybe a little bit within reason,
Yeah.
Oh right, brilliant.
And these sort of like, do you know who was big on sort of stuff like this? Laurie Sanchez. I played with. He's massive. He'd have like quotes and mottos all down the corridor, which I loved. It really
empowering, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd put stuff up like this in a dugout.
Like all around the training ground. So like a great place was like urinals. So just like because you just have to look forward.
Yeah,
so you just bang one all along. They look at Bosh. It's in your face. You can't deny it.
You're at it.
Yeah, you're taking in that information. So
absolutely. Instead of a blank wall, why not make it?
Yeah.
Here's one for you.
Go on.
Here's one for you.
Right. There's Smithy.
When you're in when you're in your house at service station, and they've got those things up, right, and it's like a product called Shreddies. Have you seen it? And like it's for if you've got wind, if you're a bit, and it kind of filters your wind. Apparently, they're called Shreddies. But I thought, is this a made up product? But I keep seeing it. I thought it was like some. I thought
you fart.
No, it doesn't. If you do have wind, it helps to filter it to kind of like stop your embarrassment if you're a bit flatulent.
What is it?
It's underwear that.
Like a garment that pins you in. You need one of them with your Eric.
It doesn't pin you in. They're called Shreddies. So I'm assuming they're like sort of, like the cereal Shreddies. They're like sort of like crosshatch, aren't they? Like sort of that. So I'm wondering whether it sort of provides a bit of a barricade. But I wasn't sure whether it was a real product. But if anyone knows if it is, actually, that'd be great if they sponsored us.
Yes. I like that. What's the product called? What's it
Shreddies.
Called? It's called Shreddies.
Shreddies, yeah.
Is it? Shreddies, stop your farting. So who are you working with at the minute?
So some contracts, obviously, NBA, you've got to protect it because, their data is their data, do you know what I mean? So some can't say, but I've done AFC Wimbledon was my big year. That was my first ever gig.
Really?
Done the US national team, which was quite cool. Went into Brighton, did their whole management team and presented all my stuff. So
no way.
Yeah, did talk to Phil Neville. He's just gone to Portland, and
I bet this is right up his street.
Yeah, they love it. All love it. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? You're just connected. It's almost here. You connected with my heroes.
Oh, no.
And hearing them be like,
for you when you're going into these clubs, going, what the hell?
Am I? Sometimes I'm still. I mean, I always had it in my head, I'm going to win the Premier League. So you have that vision where you're thinking, I'm going to be there. But then sometimes I'm probably a bit closer than I thought I was. Do you know what I mean? And you have that couple of minutes. I'm sat in front of two.
Legends?
Legends, heroes. So,
yes.
It's like, you take 2 minutes in there and you just go, this is a big step in the process of where I thought I was going to be in life and where I actually getting to. And, you have to settle into it.
You've definitely carved out your energies comes across, like, and you really believe in this, don't you? Like,
and it's because I believe in myself a little bit.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is what's put me into the game, so I've got to carry it and push it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think it's go on.
So during the week, so the manager names his team. So I'm assuming that you're kind of hanging on every word to find out who the subs are going to be when he names his squad, his subs. So because you can't really start working with them, can you, unless they know they're going to be on the bench.
Yeah.
You know that, right, they're going to be your however many players you've got. So at what stage do you start having those conversations during the week, and then if you could talk us like through your role on match day, from like the start of the day, and then when you meet up with the players.
Yeah, so the training week, again, I always say I'm a coach at heart, so I understand the footballing process that would run alongside my role. I understand being on the grass and being a dodgy lino and jumping in and helping where you can in a larger football aspect. So that Monday to Thursday, I would probably say, looks more like just a normal coach, and psychologically you're always on the lookout for little hints that someone's energy's dropped, someone's body language is a bit slow and that sort of thing. Come Friday, then it's a little bit more into the substitution role because the squad's announced. We might start getting an idea. The biggest one is press and shape on a Friday. You do tactical work and you're in the 11 that's not being worked with, and body language starts to go, I'm a sub, I'm a this, I'm a that. Not that I think managers decide that necessarily, but players read into it and think, that's what I'm going to be. So then it's your moment to be like, right, I've got to start, I've got to be on this here. Do you know what I mean? Because if you let him mull it over, it's just going to turn into a bigger thing for me. So it's about working that. We do a little substitute session for the for them training, rather than just stay out and hit balls. We put a session on that we think they're going to face in the game. So Bullard, we're going to be winning. So how can I train the subs to look like the game that we're going to be facing? As in, like, how can I plug little game scenarios, get them thinking about if we're coming on winning, game management skills, this sort of stuff. Saturday, I then get in early, make sure that all of the resources, so we have sort of physical cue cards that are stuck on the back of dugouts for players, the posters are all ready, montages have been sent over for the players, to give them a bit of positive emotion and a little bit more direction of what we want from them as a substitute. So all this sort of done in the morning. Then I tend to lead the warm-up for them pre-game, so it's our time, with the subs union, get out, rondo, keep them challenging, give them some purpose, bit of value, all this sort of stuff, put demand on them. Typically, I find substitutes get forgotten about a little bit. It's a little bit like starting 11, 100%. Turn your back, they're in the shadows. But then 70th minute, they'll be the most important player on the pitch because we need them. And so it's about keeping them engaged.
Try and keep that all the time.
Yeah, it's about keeping it's inclusive. It's inclusive experience. That's what football, I think, needs to be. And through no fault of people, I just think sometimes it isn't. Because like you said, the manager's attention should be on the starting 11. That's where it should be. Because if we're 4-0 up at half time, that makes the subs jobs a hell of a lot easier. Absolutely. Rather than chucking them on at 2-0 down. So, do the warm-up, then I'm with them in the dugout, do the first half and the second half, and we chat about the game, again, which is nice. You can drop little hints in where you start noticing things. You might be like, winger's tucked inside there, it's an odd movement. Maybe if you come on, it might be a little bit more like this. And, you start engaging their memory, your brain a little bit. We do a session at half-time, so absolute biggest bugbear of mine is when I see players go out at half time and ping balls, 2-touch, flick to the loser. Do you know what I mean? You just think
nothing there.
Yeah, in 20 minutes you're gonna have to come on.
To be fair, back in the day we used to just do that.
Yeah, but because it's normal, isn't it? It's what everyone does. You look at the opposition, they're doing the same thing. You look at the TV, everyone does it. So it's just trying to be that first person to be like, maybe it could be done like this. So we would hold almost 15-minute training sessions for the subs from things we've seen first half. Winger jumps out like this, so centre back and winger and centre mid, go set that pattern of play up and just rehearse it so that when you come on, your body, your muscle, your brain, your legs, you're just in tune with what you're doing. There's no rustiness to get up to the speed of the game. We've got you as ready as we can to bang straight in. Minute 1, you're in.
This episode of FC Bullard is brought to you by Sky Bet.
It certainly is, James Richard. And just like at Sky Bet, FC Bullard is for the fans. And it's time for our Sky Bet Fans View question, James, courtesy of Sky Bet Fan View. And here it is. Now, interesting this one. Do you think there are too many international breaks in domestic football? I'm going to let you think about it, Jim. And I'm going to just tell you what I think. I understand there are lots of games. I understand players need breaks, etc. And I understand there's a very congested fixture schedule. My feeling from a football fan watching point of view is it's these early ones. It's these early ones, the start of the season, because what you've been doing is you've been starved of football. You've been starved of live football. If it's not a tournament, that you've been starved of live football. And just as it comes back, you've got games left, right and centre. You've got Premier League, you've got EFL, you've got Scottish Premiership, you've got everything, and then you've got the Champions League and the new format, and there's 36 teams, and it's just, yes, football, loads of it. And then you have a week off, and it's like, and you have to almost like wean yourself off it. And sometimes it's not even, sometimes you might not even be watching the game, but you just kind of got it on in the background, or you know that it's on, or you might have 5 Live on, or whatever it is, or a bit of Soccer Saturday, and it's like, and then it's not there, and it's like in the old days when you were a kid growing up, there's no sport on telly, there's like wrestling.
Did you remember?
Or horse racing. Easy. Yo, shut up.
Big Daddy.
It wasn't a punch, it was the flat of the hand. Yo, shut up. Horse racing, like Speedway. Remember Speedway?
Speedway.
Massive Speedway. So it was like, so when we have like that international week, don't get me wrong, I love international football. And I always enjoy the England games, but I miss that. I miss the sort of buzz of the whole weekend, because it goes on Sunday as well, and then into Monday, and then.
So what are you saying about the question? You saying it's too much?
The question is, do you think there are too many international breaks? And I say yeah. I say yes.
Can I ask a question? At the international games, because a lot of them are friendlies, right?
I think these ones are the Nations Leagues.
They're Nations League. So these are all get. So you'll be seeded. You'll get your points. Ranking points, whatever it is. I got to be honest. I love it when England come on.
Yeah,
I do. I love it. But I also, do you know what? The times have changed. Just an overload of footy, innit? But I got to be honest. I do like it when the boys put on an England jersey. I still get that. It's a bit special. Sometimes I would prefer that to a Premier League game, because I'm just bored of the Premier League week in, week out stuff, and it's quite nice to have that different feel, like going down a pub with my mates if it's on, or even watching the game. I just think there's a bit less pressure, so I can go down the pub with that and have a pint with my mate and watch that. It's all right. Yeah, it's nice for that. So I like it, and I wouldn't like.
I'm sort of with you in that. It's just, for me, I feel they come too early at the start of the season. It's just like we just got the season going, and then we're going to have an international break, and then we just pick it back up again, and then we're going to have another one, and that's what I. That's purely from a selfish point of view, and I understand that everyone else has different opinions. It's just I love the whole thing of football at a weekend. It's it's great. Anyway.
I just would never like to be in a position where we go, we're seeing too much of English football, international football. No, I don't think we do. That's just me.
Hey, and we love you for it, Jim.
Cheers, mate.
That was this week's Sky Bet Fan View. Remember, Sky Bet is for the fans. 18 plus, begambleaware.org, and as always, remember, please gamble responsibly.
When there is a substitution having to be made in the game, how much... I suppose it all depends what gaffer you're working with, what team you're at as well. So it's a bit of a general question. But how much does it come down to you? Or do you have a chat with a gaffer or assistant? How does it work?
Manager will always have final say.
Yeah, of
always,
course.
because, they're far more experienced than I am, and, experts hire experts. So I'll be there to be able to provide an opinion and data, and, just as an analyst department would say, look, I think we need to press like this. Gaffer might turn around and go, no, I think we're going to press like this, but appreciate you coming to me with what you came to me with. A lot of my work is done before that kickoff. Do you know what I mean? So he should understand.
And the gaffers would as well.
Yeah.
Like, so both of you.
It's almost just a look, and I might say my opinion, and he might agree, disagree. And it might even be the set piece coach who also jumps in and just says, well, we need someone taller. So how can we work the taller player than the smaller player into? Do you know what I mean? It's just a conversation, isn't it? And all I'm doing is just coming from from a slightly more data-driven perspective of that player as a substitute, you know, because that's what it is. But again, the gaffer will know if he's had an argument with his missus, and so that data ain't going to be a fair reflection because he did that data when he had a great 9 hours last time, so it's not fair. And do you know what I mean? It's a whole holistic analysis, and I'll just be there to pitch in with what knowledge I have and centralise it all. Gaffer will have the final say for sure, and I'll always back that. So
it's like a game within a game almost, isn't it, for you? So that I suppose come the end of 90 minutes, you know, say it was it's like a 30-minute game almost, isn't it? You know, like the subs are coming of that 30-minute game. So have you had any moments where you could kind of like pinpoint and go, yeah, we discussed that and that happened and we got that result and it massive and it helped the team, you know, achieve what we wanted on the day? Yeah,
quite like some really nice moments, because we also film our half times. So I've got this one brilliant moment, and that's the example I use when I go into clubs at Morecambe away. So with this 2-2 at half time, I think it was 2-2, and we've noticed that when we switch the play, their fullback overly narrows off, so he's past sort of the reference point where I would say good defensive shape. So when we switch it, you know, he has a mad distance to cover, really jumps out, does it from a really odd line, leaves loads of space down the line. So I was thinking, you know, if we can get a winger who can have a positive first touch, right movement, so we can exploit it. So it's half time, we set it up, you know, we have centre mid, substitute centre mid, diag substitute winger, substitute fullback, go out to press, you know, and we just 5-10 minutes of just rehearsing this, and he gets it, you know, he does a skill down the line, sometimes he crosses, sometimes shots, sometimes out to win run, just rehearses loads of different examples, and we've got it on film, and then 20 minutes later, you know, he does the exact part of the pitch, exact skill, exact movement.
That's nutty, that.
Oh, it's absolutely
you're almost like, yes. Gaffer turns around and you go, yes, got it, because it's a nice piece. And it gives you confidence.
Exactly that. And what was even better is that there's so many like side pieces to this. So you then go to the substitute fullback who didn't get on, but did his role in that. You go, that was you, mate. You helped do that, by the way. So that's fucking nice.
And also the other way round, like if you sit a 4 in, and what would you call it? Like if you're winning the game 1-0 and you set a sub to come on, what would you call that? The other way round, if you save a goal, if you had that scenario where he comes in and makes a last ditch tackle or something, or just squabbles something out,
destroyer, right? You know, controller, closer, just winner. It could be a match winner. Do you know what I mean? Like we're winning or we're losing, but you need to go on and see the win. And,
I've never. It's weird. Like these. So your job role, you're going to see more of this, aren't you, in football? Without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to go this way. It's not going to just be you out there forever. Have you had any like sneaky? Have you had any people in the game come up to you and go, I'm looking at your role, how did you get into it? Surely you're not just the only one out there, and even are you the only one out there looking for this? There must be other people you've bumped into.
Yeah, there's no substitution coach out there, you know, and I'm quite busy on LinkedIn. Yeah,
I can't get that in my nut. Yeah. Like, there's no other one out there. Like,
I think there are clubs do certain processes that I think will have some sort of what I would call substitution methodology. Yeah. But you know, nowhere near to the level, you know, where I'm like creating montages for the subs about the opposition we're about to face in the picture that we might fit. You know what I mean? The granular detail that I think I can go into. And I think it's because if you don't have someone specific doing it, you know, you're adding a lot of work onto somebody's role. So and you can do that, but then whose role do you add it onto? And
maybe a crappy question. Do you think there will be more views in the future?
I don't know. I see it both ways. Like, if there's not, I'll just continue being relevant. You know, so I'm unique at the moment. That's my selling point. So if no one ever does it, you know, people are still using me, so I'm still relevant. If people do it, then I'm the trailblazer that started the substitution coach role.
And you're way ahead of the game.
And I've got years of research
on it. But do you think the gap in the market you've got? Do you think that it's going to be the way football goes?
Yeah.
If you're going to go with a yes or no, do you think there's going to be more of you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I do. I'm looking at it. What do you think?
Well, if you're a manager or an owner listening to this podcast, and I know there are a lot of them out there,
feel free to reach out.
They'll be going, get his number, or, you know, right, let's have a meeting tomorrow, because it is certainly, you know, like you use the Premier League as the example, because with the additional substitutions now, it has become, you know, it's like, you know, it's 90 plus whatever it is. You know, the game's longer.
Minutes, isn't it?
You know,
it comes more into.
They know.
Into your
they know that. They know that there are going to be that substitutes are going to play a part in pretty much every game. And
did you not say to me Liverpool got a thrown-in coach?
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah.
Do you know him?
Yeah, no, Thomas. Yeah.
So that's a lap over, right?
Yeah. So he's been unbelievable with me. Like when I was like
Really?
22 and started crafting this role, reached out to him on LinkedIn, as I did with everyone. Do you know what I mean? A bit of a nobody in football. Some people replied, a lot of people didn't. Thomas was one of the guys that did reply, and I would always just get in there, but like, I've got an idea about substitutions. Can I just like pinch 15 minutes of your time? And he gives me a call, and we're chatting, and I'll say, I'm describing it, and he's like, I love it. Like, and he's just given me so much advice about how to set that up and roll with it. As a specialist, as a bit niche, as sometimes someone who's a bit on the outside of the traditional football, and how you can work your way in and all that sort of stuff. So it's cool.
But what comes across is, you've gone, and I really believe in this, I do, like, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason for what you're doing. You can't just go, I'm thinking about doing that. It's like you've identified something, there's a reason for doing it, and you've gone, I know
this can make a difference.
I can make a difference. This will make a difference, and I can make a difference, and I'm the best person to do that. And it looks like that's exactly what you've gone in and done.
Yeah, I did just as I started the sort of concept, did a really cool questionnaire of just players and staff and just anyone I could reach out to, and just similar to here, just sat down, just said, talk to me about being a sub, and just openly left it. And it's like, because again, I didn't want to be that, I was in a fairly good role, 23, National League Cup. I didn't want to jump into something that was going to kill me years down the line. So it was like, if I need to know if football's ready for this. So that's when that like interview process where managers were like, we just sub with a hope. There's a gut instinct. If he's 6'5", we chuck him on and we're losing. We hope for the best. And players were like, tough to enter a game when you've been sat down, defeated, isolated, anxious. All this sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
So it was like, okay, like there might be something that can be crafted here into football, and I think there are actually quite a lot of things in football like that. Where if you actually isolate it, you could probably do it. I always say it's results over tradition, isn't it? Like don't just do it because it's been done like that. Do it because data or results or whatever says it's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
For all the great comments, you had any negative? Have you had any come up? Have you seen any go, what's that like? You got that old traditionist that just ain't ready for change.
Yeah, a little bit of resistance. Like as it started, a little bit of resistance. Called up a League One manager again on LinkedIn, and pitched it to him, and he just went, "No, don't be daft.
Not for me.
Yeah, don't be daft." I was like, "All right, sorry, sir."
The old dinosaur stuck in their way, which I suppose you're going to
get. And again, I said, like, no worries, mate. Appreciate your opinion. Football's a game of opinions. Do you know what I mean? I probably wouldn't agree with some of your stuff on football, but that's how it goes. So respect.
But it's amazing how that can dent a lot of people's confidence. But you don't come across like you're just like that, sweet mate. See that crack on.
What were you like as a sub?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think no one likes being a sub, but I totally get, and I love your role. And I would have loved to have someone like that at a football club. Well, I've made a decision already. We'll come to that later. But I would have loved that because I think everything you said is... You've obviously done your homework massively, being in football. Everything you said is absolutely spot on. There's nothing worse than being a sub back in the day. But the way you've done it and the way you've bought into it, can I make this player like feel part? Because you were, especially back in the day, and things... the game's changed as well, and I think that's fallen into your lap. Or made your...
Yeah, it's more relevant. More appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, because the game's bigger, there's a bigger squad, so there's so many more games, so the subs come into it. But I'd have loved to have been on that bench when your name's on the board as a sub, it was like a big flatliner. But now, with you and your way of thinking, it would almost be... It keeps you buoyant.
Yeah.
It keeps you relative. It feels like you're in the game, and I just think I love all this. I love how you can. You know what I'm like. I hate negativity in everything. So I love turning. Let's say a sub's a negative. That's a massive positive. Like I don't see how that's going to hinder a club or football. I just see how that's going to help. I don't see any. And I would have loved it. I'd have loved you to come in, and you seem great anyway. But I'd have loved your energy.
When you were sat on the bench though. Did you struggle with focusing on what was going on, or were you tuned into the game? Were you always ready to go?
I was always ready. To be honest, even though it was pissed off at the start, I'd never toys out a pram job.
No.
I'm eager to get on. Well, I told the story when I was at England.
Oh, God.
So I'm sat on the bench with Bridgie and Crouchy. We're at an England qualifier. I think it was Germany. And then they're all winding me up and they're going... Jim, like, get a cap. You got to make sure, like, you're keen. So said, start warming up. Have I told it on here?
Yeah.
Have I told it on here? Oh, you have to listen to it again. Anyway. And I was warming up in front of Fabio Capello, but doing proper strides and stretching in front of him, and he was looking like I was crackers. So I was just doing mad warm-ups, just trying to get on. But when I'm on the bench, I was always ready, Fenners. I just wanted to make an impact. So next time, hang on, you warrant a start. But here's one for you. As I was just saying that, is there then a gap where a player is just the ultimate finisher?
Yeah.
He doesn't even start. Like in a few years' time, would there be clubs signing players where you just sign them to come on and be a sub?
Yeah, so I've done that process. I've helped clubs sign finishers, sign recruiters, but again, not just finishers, sign closers. Well,
this is what I mean.
Maybe they win more than they lose, so they need players. I did a bit of work for a team, and they signed a player who was as a sub in a team that got relegated. So you're looking at you going, well, he got relegated, and he's not even a starter in that team.
Yeah.
But because he just came on time after time in a losing game state, he started to master the ability to be a good sub when losing.
That Ollie was that at Man United a little bit, and Ollie, didn't he? He was sort of that sort of player, and then you started. But I was thinking, when I was giving you that answer, I was thinking, you injure yourself if you keep scoring if you want to start, because the gaffer's going, he's great sub. You're like, I don't really want that role. Do you get what I mean?
Well, but Duran for Villa at the moment, was it 5 sub goal contributions this year? But just good time and time again, he's on the bench, innit? And for some people, that's not just their role, because I see it as a cycle. Like you just said, do well enough as a sub, work your way up, just tip into the starters, few starts, cup matches, whatever. Then you might do really well and it might ride, but then injuries, whatever, then you'll come back round and then you'll be a sub again, and it's or a finisher again, and you'll just it's a constant cycle of a career, really.
So clubs have got databases of all players. Have you got a database of subs?
Yeah, because there's also a lot of data around this. I would say 100. This approach is people driven. I have to work with people, but there's so much data that you.
Well, let's say you're going to sell it. I'm telling you now, without a shadow of a doubt, you'll be going into clubs. Once, man, this is a nutty turnout, because my head's going 100%. Clubs are going to look, and his subs are going to outweigh every club. I'm telling you, they are, right? And the clubs are going to go, well, I need one of them.
It's like set pieces.
I think we're in the wrong gig. We should become. He should be doing us a job interview. We've got to reverse this, because that's definitely going to happen. Is that a little? I don't know if I'm undermining you. Is that a little bit NFL-y though? Is that like what the rugby boys, the American football teams do? They have like kickers coming on and shit like that, don't they?
Like the NFL is known for sort of having staff budgets almost on par with playing budgets. Whereas in football, like there's such a disparity in that, isn't it? Like playing budgets for playing members will be so high, and staff will be on very modest wages. Whereas NFL, like you said, it's almost like for like, and I've been into clubs that suggest that's where football's going.
100% it's going.
Again, it's common sense, isn't it?
It is common. Yeah, the stats talk.
Stop clubs still make the same mistakes. Whereas someone comes in and things change overnight because they've got a system in place and they're looking at the numbers. They're not just basing it on numbers, but they're doing their sums and whittling it down till they get that pool of people and then go, right, this is we'll pick them out of that pool of people because their match are what we're after.
Do you know what other stat ticks where you can't dock it or whatever is the good feel factor in amongst the club? You must have seen that.
Yeah, got some really nice examples. Examples. Yeah, just like players coming out of matchday programs and saying, it's ledge to be involved here. Everyone's included. It's a real team. Yeah. Even when you're on the bench, you have a process, and and that's like no prompt of you. You just get the matchday, you read it, you flick through, you see that, and you think that's a win. That's the same as a substitute goal. It's just off. It's just in your own moment. And loads. We had a player that I worked with who would use the term energizer on his Instagram. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You just think, imagine a player going on his Instagram after a game and using a photo of him warming up with me rather than him playing and going energizer. That's a huge movement, isn't it?
Massive, that's a big. I love
Twitters have changed it to call them finishers rather than subs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The social media team are buying in, and the fans then buy in, and it is a movement, isn't it?
Absolutely, I love it, mate.
Sammy, tell us about the cue cards. What's on the cue cards?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you know, I was a substitute, sat there for 45 minutes, hadn't really moved, had to go on, reach my top speed, you know, battle with a 6'5" centre back, whatever, and it's very difficult to do from a position of seating down for 45 minutes. So, you know, my muscle, I'm very relaxed right now. You know what I mean? So there's no way I'm ready to jump up and go. So what we needed was to try and design a cue card, which is a more deliberate way of becoming physically warm as a substitute. Because again, how often do you see? I mean, your example with the England story goes against this, but how often do you see subs go down a touchline, drop to a knee, maybe open a gate, chat to their mate who's on the opposition, stroll back up, gaffers see me do it once, get back in, bench coat.
Mate, goes on.
Absolutely. And so, but then, you know, if I would ask you to come on in 2 minutes, are you ready to reach? Are
you really ready?
Yeah, your physical potential that we need as maybe an energizer. So what we do with these cue cards is it implements a bit more of a structured process for substitutes to go and have a more deliberate warm up. And the cue cards, which we stick on the back of like dugout seats, and they sort of size of a hand fit in the back of a sock. You know, if you're in a away ground and you don't want to get pelters, then you can sort of slip it in. But
and what will it actually say on there?
Structured warm up, yeah. So it will say the position specific movements that maybe, you know, related to your position. You know, your dynamic stretches, maybe bands, activation bands if you want them.
You're not allowed down there to do a warm up with them.
No, so international, it's starting to move that way that you are, but not in English football, anyways. Unfortunately.
In your role, do you ever get kind of tasked by the coach to you know, send messages on or things like that, or is that?
Yeah,
because we know that. I mean, allegedly that happens, doesn't it? You know, we see.
Yeah, you see him go on with.
Go and tell the keeper. Go and tell the keeper he's tweaked his calf.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone down.
Seen it.
Yeah, I would say a good example of that is if you know, we're playing a team and they've changed their striker and they've gone from, you know, a nippy 5'10" who's going to run in behind to a big 6'5" who's going to, you know, bounce it off his head. You know, we might slip a little tactical cue card on that might just say, look, this is his pros, this is his headlines, can you get him to do this? Do you know what I mean? So, because again, we plough information into players, you know, we have to protect players from information because we don't want to overload them.
Yes.
So how can we headline a new challenge for them so that it doesn't, you know, so that they know what's going on in front of them? You know, don't always just look at who you're playing to start with, look at who you're playing to finish the game with as well. Right. And that might be an example of that.
So it might be a note about the striker that you're playing against. It might just say something like, just keep him out wide because he doesn't really like to go wide on his left foot or something.
Big lad, going to go direct, 1 up, 3 round. You know, it's going to be different because now he's not going in behind. Now you're going to have to come with him, get right up. Do you know what I mean? Little headlines that players know, but just triggers that reminder of like, oh yeah, different challenge now. So don't have to be on the half turn ready to go in behind. Got to be ready to follow him in. And
I always, when I was ever a sub, I was very rarely, wasn't even in the squad, but coming on, I found really. I always when I'd played first half, I'd go in and then I'd really struggle for like 10 minutes the second half. I felt like I wasn't there. I was having a bit of an out of body. It was really weird. But coming on as a sub, you what's on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being absolutely ready, absolutely can go out and perform to the best of your ability. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close can you get to 10 from being a sub?
Yeah,
let's say
the
a 10.
game will dictate you, won't it? That.
Yeah.
Depending on how the game is.
Massively, yeah. And what ground you're at. Do you know what I mean? Like you're at Wembley, they have a little functional room, I believe. So can you get in there and do some ball work or whatever? Like, you know, Accrington Stanley, you know, you've got the thinnest touchline ever. So, you know, you're even limited to a warm-up. So that will obviously influence it. But I would say a good example probably is, let's say a 10 is how you would warm up a starter. You know, where they go through a 45-minute ball, physical, attack, everything they're given, is so that they start the game well. I would say the closest you can get to is like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
You know, you can there's probably, you know, every minute that passes, you lose that technical rush that you've had at half time, and that brings you down a bit. But
I told you that story when I played in a testimonial at Crystal Palace.
Did you go up top? He said go up top.
No, well, this was just before the game. Alan Padgett said, you go and play up top, Fenners, like, right back, you know, at best. And anyway, before the game, go out and have a warm-up. The warm-up was absolutely brutal. Honestly,
you're so used. Yeah,
I was absolutely. I couldn't do some of it. I was blowing. I was stopping.
For a non-footballer, it's quiet. It's out there.
But you used to tell me, like, when they used to do after the warm-up, on training. You have to do a really long warm-up every day for training.
It's like a 45-minute... Yeah, it's I don't think... To go back to your question, you're never going to get... Especially, mate, I've been a sub a few times and gone on to a game where it's fierce. End to end. Oh, mate, no matter how heavy your warm-up is, you got to remember, they've been playing for like 25 minutes, whatever, second half. They're at it.
Yeah, they're battle-hardened.
You come on, mate, and the first blow, it's until you get your second wind. Well, we used to call it... I don't know if that's like an old-fashioned phase. Is it an old-fashioned phase?
Yeah,
your second wind?
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. It's just that momentum in it, that rush.
It's like the first bit. It's like, oh, it can't be this. Mate, the amount of times you come in and go, can't be this quick. I can't breathe. And all of a sudden, you just get into it, don't you? But yeah, I love what you're all about. I love your energy, and I love the concept that you've brought to the world of football. Yeah, it's nutty. Like, I've already made my decision.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry to overstep straight into... I think this job role for FC Bullard is absolutely money. As well, when we go on and our team progresses, we're going to have a lot of players that probably never worked with someone like you. So it'd be good to see their how their mind act. Like... What someone like Coley on the bench, Coley, you got to buy into a finish here, be like, hack off. I'd love to see you deal with someone like that.
What is interesting about this as well, Jim, is that we've got a substitution coach for our subs, and we haven't even got 11 players.
Easy way to
got a team. So,
no.
But how do you think you've performed in the interview, Sammy?
I think it's been okay. Like I said, I think there's a lot more to come from me. Do you know what I mean? So I think, but if there's anything you're unconvinced by, let me know.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
More than that, I just love your energy, and I know it's a role for football to stay. I know it's going to stay.
Do you want to offer him?
You're in.
Thank you very much.
I've never had such Coley. Yeah, he was always going to be in.
He's a big name.
I'll give him the armband because he is just money. But I've never had such a positive yes than this. You?
Absolutely.
You are in me, old son.
It's an
You're
honour.
a fucking legend. Don't let me down. First game, I want you there.
Hey, substitute goals today. That's what I'm about.
I love it.
Return on investment, innit?
Absolutely.
Saves you paying another striker. I'll just deliver a few extra goals.
I love that.
Have you got anything on your terms? Anything that you want from us within the contract? Maybe
no. Just to be involved is a privilege, and sort of people that open-minded enough to buy in are my sort of football people. So I'm
Do you know
excited
what?
to work alongside you both.
That right there, open-minded, is what we are.
Innovative.
And I think that without a shadow of a doubt, I think you're going to love the ride. This is going to be wicked, especially when we get a team and we actually. Do you know what I can't wait for when we talk about roles like this? I can't wait for our first game. And we're in the change room, and the rolls are starting to happen. I'll be like, goosebumps. Here we fucking go. Let's roll them out.
We need a little all or nothing documentary following that, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. This should be filmed, absolutely, from start to finish. I've heard you mention, and I know you actually believe in it. Ain't so much a question. Your drive is to win the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the way you even say yeah. He's like,
I got it. Yeah.
Is that?
It's got to be the end
goal, whole thing that's driving it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I just want to have a Premier League medal around my neck. Yeah, and I think that's everything that, like, from day one, where I was an internship at Bournemouth, and then Weymouth was, pennies to start with, £15 a week, into then Wimbledon internship, all the hard hours, the travel.
I love it.
Then it was like, I've done a Premier League champion.
Do you know what? Do you know you will?
You reckon?
Mate, we're going to play this. You will win the Premier League one day, 100%.
Might not be with FC Bullard, but
it's got to be.
Really?
It's got to be.
Sorry.
Probably not. You know actually.
It will be with FC Bullard.
Yeah. No, you will. No, you will win the Premier League. And do you know what? I think it's going to be sooner than everyone thinks and what you think. Yeah, I really do. I think you've really carved a little piece out where football's ready for you, mate. All the best. I really do, mate. I'd love you to come in with the medal. That would be my dream.
Hey,
you know what
Jim.
I mean?
Get him on.
Oh, mate. Once he's got a Premier League medal, they'll be going, I'll go over there. Absolutely, mate. You've been classed.
I do have a little bit of a gift as well, which is
another gift.
Yeah, which is the first. This was the shirt that I had made up for me. As when I was a substitute, so obviously I've come in, do you know what I mean? And I'm a coach, so I didn't think anything. Come in, and this is hung up in the changing rooms as my first.
Oh, amazing.
Do you know what I mean? First shirt. So I thought,
mate, we're going to have that. That'll go nowhere. That's here. Right, so if you ever
put it on
want
our
it back,
set and then we'll give you it back.
Yeah, that'd be ledge. Yeah, but again,
sacked.
signed by all the players because a big special day, and again that was the first
big
shirt.
number,
That was big number in it.
This will always be here, mate.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So.
Thanks, Sammy.
Sammy Lander, everyone.
Brilliant, mate.